Thanks a lot, sir, for the warm introduction and inviting me again, absolutely in the ongoing series. So, last time we discussed that what are the different ways, pathways of immigration. Like some people want to go on a country just for the tourism purpose to explore the country. Some people want to go there for the business purpose. People are investing right nowadays to get the better returns on their investment. But the majority, if we just see the population of India, they are majorly the students. And right nowadays every student want to get a good education, and they want a country where they will be able to get some extra benefits with their education. But the biggest problem what our students is facing right nowadays, they are not able to first decide which program they should choose and which country they should choose, because sometimes they are not able to get the funding options, because everyone, definitely in India, we are the people, like 90% of the population is coming from an economic family or from a middle class family. So it's not possible for everyone to get admission into the topmost universities with the fees is like, if we just discuss about the fees structure and if we just talk in general, then a graduation course, whether it's a bachelor of arts, bachelor of commerce, bachelor of science, bachelor of computer applications, and if we just consider the English speaking countries like Canada, Australia, United Kingdom, USA, European countries like Germany, Sweden, which are the topmost choices of the today's era, so it will be costing somewhere around between 25 to 30 lakhs easily, which will be including the cost of the college, which means the college fees and accommodation, but not the other activities, like whatever the other expenses student will be here there in the country apart from the accommodation, the student have to bear it by themselves, like their fooding expenses, the other expenses they are having on their daily sustainability or on their daily life. So it is very necessary for a person that when they are deciding that yes, now it is the time we have to opt a country or we have to opt a course, the student should research at least themselves before even going to any kind of immigration consultant, before going to any kind of immigration lawyer. At least the student have a roadmap in their mind so that they will be able to get the exact help which they need from the resourceful person to whom they are going. Let's understand this through an example. There is a student who is in right now 12th standard and pursuing the, he is a commerce student, and now he is thinking that yes, I have to go abroad, but he is not clear whether he should go or she should go there for a bachelor of commerce, or whether the student should pursue the BBA. And even the top of that, he is not clear with the country. He is running in the mind, like for the initial days he is thinking I should settle in Canada. For the next few days, if some colleague said no, the UK is good, then they're like, even in today's generation, peer pressure is also something which is convincing the generation of ours, because they are not researching, they are not checking that what is good in the UK education system, what is good in the Canadian education system. They are just like, oh, my friend is also there in UK, so I'll also go to UK. My relatives are there in the USA, so I'll also go to USA. but they are not checking that what kind of the subject demand the country is having, what kind of the benefits they will be having. So in the today's session, we will gonna discuss that what are the top 5 things when a student is looking for an education in any country apart from their home country. What should be the first thing they should see? So the very first thing they should see in any of the program which they are choosing, whether it's a graduation program, whether it's a master's program, or whether it's a post graduation program. So on the very first note, they should check what kind of the financial assistance they will be getting from the university or the country in which they are applying. Like if we just talk about the scholarships and the funding, then UK is the topmost choice, because in UK 70% of the universities gives the fully funded scholarship options to the students who are having the 75% aggregate in their 12th. And if we just see that yes, a student wants to settle on a permanent basis in that country, then the student are choosing Canada and Australia, because after completing their studies they have a option to get the permanent residency of the country and they can settle in that country via PR. So it is very necessary that what is the future goal. So students should think about the long roadmap, not about just it's about a concern of 2 year or 3 year investment. No. So it is very necessary that one should check what is the financial background I'll be having, whether I'll be able to pay the fee, whether I'll be able to manage my expenses, because every country is not giving the allowance for the work. Some countries are restricted on a 20 hours per week, whether some others are giving the permission to 30 hours per week. Some countries are even not giving the permission to start working on a very first year. They give us the permission to students in the third year or after their graduation. Like if we talk about the European countries, then in the second year you can start working, but in the first year you have to be dependent on the savings that you are having with you or on your parents for your all of the expenses. So it is very necessary that while just when you are planning to go to study abroad, first one should check which country would be the best. Second, they should check that what kind of the financial background they are having, what kind of the financial budget they are having. Then they should explore the university's option, and then they should explore the country's option. Then the third thing come, apart from this, the very basic thing and the very important thing, we should always check the demand of the course and the opportunities of the course in the country. Okay, if one person needs to go for a management, then they should choose the UK. If a person wants to go for a healthcare or for a professional courses like a CA, CPA, then they should choose the countries like Canada or Australia, because the professions are highly demanded over there. Getting a CPA license in Australia will make you eligible to work as a chartered accountant in many of the other countries. After this thing, we should always check that what kind of the post work permit opportunities that country will be giving, whether we will be able to work 20 hours per week, whether we will be able to work 30 hours per week, or whether we will be able to work more than that. Will our post graduation work permit will be valid for 1 year? What kind of the stay back options the country is providing? Like majorly people who wants the stay back options, they prefer Canada, because Canadian government provides a 2 year student work permit after their completion, like two years post graduation study work permit after the completion of graduation. Someone raised the hand in between. May I know if there is any doubt? Yeah, after the session as well. Okay. So we were discussing about the post student work permit, and the last option, that if you are returning to your home country, then what is the demand of that study will be in India. Suppose I am going into Canada for getting a engineering, like a prompt engineering course, because right now the AI, artificial intelligence, is on the boom. The market is booming every day. There are a lot of demands, vacancies in all of the big four MNCs as well. So I would be clear that whether the study I'll be getting through any of the abroad country, whether that study will be having a useful impact when I'll return to my home country. If I want to start a business, or if I want to join a very good MNC, any corporate, okay. So these are the researches which one student should go through even before going to an immigration consultant. Because once you will be clear with the course that yes, this is the course I want to opt, and once the student will be clear with the country, then the immigration consultant or the company to whom you are going, they will help you the way out to get clearance with your visa. or to get the admission. They can help you that if your profile is not strong, if your profile is 60% to get the admission, they can help you to make your profile strong. But the first roadmap should be of the student only. I hope so. This is clear that like what should be the pre-research one should do for getting the admissions into the college when we are talking about the abroad education system. Okay. Now the second thing come. So the most second important thing when we are talking about the study abroad programs or we have to get admission into the foreign universities, the language examination. Because when we are talking about getting the admission into a foreign country, then definitely these are the English speaking countries and they definitely would be checking the kind of proficiency level we are having. So there are different kind of examinations the student has to take. So they should start preparing the examinations prior to the 6 to 7 months when they are planning to get admission into the abroad, because this is the first thing which the university is asking. Okay, so there are different kind of examination. IELTS exam is one of the very popular exam. IELTS academic is the version. There are two versions in the IELTS examination. One is the general one, while the other one is the academics one. So general one is given by the persons who are going over the work permit or who are opting the permanent residency or any other kind of visas. But when we are particularly focusing on the student visas, then academics is the examination, IELTS academic, which students needs to prepare. So there are 4 modules in that: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And the examiner would be checking your proficiency in all of the 4 modules. How good you are at writing, how good you are at reading, how good you are having your speaking skills, how good you are at reading. Because definitely when we will be joining a foreign university, the only primary language in which all the lectures will be delivered, all the program will be completed, it would be English, because there will not be any kind of regional language, there will not be the Hindi. The English would be the primary resource for us. And then there are a lot of more examinations right nowadays, like Duolingo and then the TOEFL examination, which students are opting. But yes, IELTS academic is something which is worldwide accepted. The person who is giving the IELTS academic, they will be open to Canada, Australia, UK, USA, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France, for any country, because it is acceptable by worldwide. And the minimum criteria for the scoring, the student should able to get at least 6 or 6.5 in each of the module, because this is the basic criteria to get the admission clearance in the university, as well as to get the visa also cleared. Okay, now the next thing that we need to prepare before getting admitted into the any university, students should have a letter of motivation. Like when they research about the program, they have to give a letter of motivation to the admission officer that this is my background and this is the course which I want to pursue. They clearly mention their motivation, why they want to pursue this course, how the course will help them to shape their career, and how the course will help them to get the desired things in the future, how the course will help them to grow professionally and personally in the terms of career. Okay, and then third thing, they need to connect with the university and they need to ask about the funding options, that what kind of the funding help the university can do. And then they need to seek the funding options in their home country. Like in India, a lot of banks are there who are providing the education loan on very low interest. There are different kind of the government programs also which are launched by the central government of India, in which the students can participate, can check them online. And under them, like there is a program which is the Commonwealth program, and it is anticipated between the India and the UK government, under which women are given 80% scholarship who want to take admission into any kind of masters or doctorate program. So there are a lot of programs like this which have been initiated by the central government of India, under the Ministry of Education and under the Ministry of Women Empowerment. So under these kind of programs, students can easily get the funding options and the funding assistance through both countries' government. Third thing, when we are planning to moving abroad, we should always focus on our academics in our home country, because the good aggregate we are getting in our home country, it will become easier for the foreign university to have an idea about our intelligence in our previous academics results. Like a person who is having a 75% aggregate, a student who is having a 90% aggregate, it will become easier for both of them to get admitted into any university instead of a person who is getting 55% or 60%. There will be definitely options, but it will not be good as the person will be getting the options on the basis of 75% score or 90% score. Okay, and because there are the certain timings, like in India we have the session start in schools in April, and majorly in the colleges during the July and August. So in foreign countries also they have few intakes. So there are majorly three intakes, which are the January intakes. Then the another one is the summer intake, and the third one is the autumn intake. So in the January intake, mostly universities will be accepting the applications between the January to February. The admission starts particularly from the November mid. Then the summer intakes come, where the students will be taking the admission in the September intake, which is the biggest intake in which most of the students get admitted in, and most of the students take admission from the India particularly. And there is a autumn intake where few of the universities or few of the countries open a slab in somewhere between April to June. So these are the three intakes, and for getting admission in any of the intake, a student has to prepare at least 6 months before, because it will take 1.5 months to get the offer letter of the admission from the university, and another time like between 2 to 2.5 months it will take for the visa approval. And once we will get the admission letter from the university, then the next thing that we have to do is the visa. We have to get the approval for the visa. So, and visa approval is something which is very necessary, which needs to be done very accurately, because even after getting an admission letter, visa officer needs to approve your visa to reside in that country. Without the visa, the student can't reside over there. So once you'll get the admission letter, then we have to prepare for the visa application. So in visa application, four things are very necessary when a student is applying for a student visa in any XYZ Z country. Like the same principle will be applicable for all of the countries, whether we are applying for Canada, Australia, Germany, USA, any XYZ country. These four things which we have to keep in mind. First thing, you should have a valid passport, and you should have a good character clearance in your home country as well. There should be no FIRs on your names. There should be no criminal offenses on your name. For schooling students, like any student who has completed just the academics 11th or 12th, there will not be an issue. Okay, but for the students who have completed the graduation, after that they work for some time, like they work for 2 to 3 years, and then they plan that yes, now we'll go for a master's in higher in a for a higher education in a foreign country, or we should pursue a program, any kind of post graduation diploma. So for them it is very necessary that they have all the mark sheets of all of the semesters. If it is a semester wise program, or if it's a year wise program, they should have their degree. They should have a good character clearance certificate from their university. They should have the medium of instruction as well from their university. And if in case, unfortunately, if there is any backlogs in the bachelor's, then you should have your backlog certificates as well. Okay. Apart from this, financial surroundings that you are having, these are very much important, because if you will not be able to convince the visa officer that for a program of 2 years you will be able to support yourself financially, then they will not be approving the visa. So you should have at least the proper savings as per the government requirements. Like suppose if we give the example of Canada, then in Canada for 1 year, minimum amount required for the savings is 10,000 Canadian dollars, which is approximately 8 to 9 lakhs INR in the Indian currency. So you have to show the savings, and to show the savings, we can use the savings account or FDs. Or if a parent is sponsoring, like for the 12th ongoing student, definitely the parents will sponsor the visa. So the parents should have that much account, that much amount in their savings. They should have the proper ITRs filled, Form 16s. They should show the assets that yes, this kind of the valuation they are having on their name, the properties or any kind of gold or any kind of asset like mutual funds, or we can say the stock as well. So stocks and mutual funds are something which we can't use as a liquid amount, because this is something which is changing as per the rate. Okay, but yes, the liquid amount which is readily available, which is the PF, PPFs, fixed deposits, savings, these can be used. And the fourth thing, we have to write a statement of purpose, that why we are going to that country, what kind of the impact this study will be having on our future, and after completing the study in that particular country, what are the major reasons of coming back to India. Like I have my family, I'm married. If there are many persons who are married who apply for the master's program even after having a gap of 4 to 5 years, and if a person is having a gap, I completed my graduation in 2014, but now I am applying for a master's degree in 2019, then definitely the visa officer will gonna ask me, then why you didn't complete your masters after the 2014 only, why there is a 5 year gap. So I have to be just, I will be able to justify that gap as well. That is also very necessary. So statement of purpose needs to be very strong. We will be able to convince the visa officer that we have a family over here. We have few responsibilities in our home country. We can't leave the tradition and the rich diversity of India. Because of that, we will be once we'll complete our study. Once our study permit will be about to expire, we will be returning to India. So these are the few things which a student needs to know, because even if you are going to an immigration consultant, they can give you the pathway, they can work on your behalf, they can write the statement of purpose on your behalf, but you are the one who need to guide them, because you are the student, you know your story, why you want to pursue that program, why you want to go to that country. They can just enhance your work, or we can say they can just develop your SOP in a more generative manner, which will not be having any kind of grammatical errors, which will not be having any kind of mistakes, and the chances of visa rejected will be very low. So these are some aspects which we should always remind in our mind. But right nowadays, students are not going through the proper research. They are just going on the peer pressure, or they are just going on the Google data. Okay, Canada accepted 10,000 students. Definitely, Canada would be a good choice for me. It's not like that. One should go through a proper research. One should go through the proper immigration rules and regulations of that country as well. What kind of the uh, ties India is having. This is also one of very most important aspect right nowadays, because Indian government is having a trade agreement with almost all of the foreign countries, under which Indian government have a partnership with those countries for the students. Like in recent year, Australia has launched a program which is the MATES. So under that, the engineering professionals who have recently completed their BTech, they can move to Australia, they can work there, and they can study there as well for the 16 months. And the cost of visa is also very low. So students have to search these kinds of information over the embassy's website, and it is very important for a student to go through a particular research about the subject that he wants to study, and about the university's rankings as well, that whether this university will be having a good ranking in all over the world or not, what kind of the opportunities one will be able to get into the future, whether in that country or whether in our home country. Because if I'm pursuing a course which will not be having any kind of future opportunities in India, then definitely it will not be a good thing for me. I'll be not having any kind of opportunities, I'll not be having any career, then the study would go in vain. So it is very important to go through a practical research, to go through. And right nowadays we are into a AI era, artificial intelligence, so it is very easy for the students to just Google the things, just search, just go through the case studies, and then look all on the scenarios. So this is all about the today's session, a short and informative session that how students should prepare about their journey when they are thinking about the studying abroad. So if there are any questions, we are open to questions. Definitely. One should always check, and even if you are taking the help of any immigration consultant, then you should also check their websites as well, their authentication. Yes, doctor, you are having some questions. How may I help you?
Hello, good evening, Dr. Bedkar, sir, Principal, sir, Prashant, sir, and good evening, ma'am. Thank you for your great information. My question is, when the politics of world changes, the rules and visa techniques and everything changes. Now,
Definitely.
what has happened recently at Canada, because of our dialogue failed at some level, and because of that, all of a sudden, India has also taken one stand, and Canada has also taken one stand. But one of I think 2 3 my patients, they were about to fly about, or they landed in a problem because of this kind of what we can say ad hoc and sudden decisions what the countries are taking. So to see the world politics is a different thing, but for my personal level, how I can protect myself, being getting trapped in such a kind of situations, or what has happened at Gaza. The one of my patient came back to India. Now he cannot go to Gaza because the flights are already so now these are the basic questions, when we are going away and doing our jobs and services at other countries. And second question is, if I'm going out abroad, how it helps to my country, to build my country. So please elaborate on these 2 points.
Sure, sir. So I would like to answer the very first question that yes, it is very difficult to know about these situations because this is something which can happen accidentally or suddenly. And even no one was knowing that suddenly these situations will happen, at least between Canada and India, because in Canada, the 70% of the population who is immigrating, India is the biggest source. If Indian students will not be taking the admission, if Indian economy is not having a good trade agreement with Canada, then definitely the Canadian economy will gonna impact it badly, because 75% students who took the admission in Canadian universities are Indians. So definitely a major part of the Canadian economy is based on the Indian students. Secondly, the permanent residents who are migrating, they are also the 80% Indians. And not only these, right nowadays, entrepreneurs who are investing between 1 to 3 crores as well in their economy, they are also the Indians, mostly from the Punjab or the Gujarat side. So what we can do, if these kind of situations is happening, the very first thing, any person or any candidate who is stuck in that country, we should always reach out to the embassy of our country, which is the Indian embassy, and we should take all of the necessary guidelines given by them. That, like, if we just recently take the example of Canada and India, then the Indian government given the few guidelines through the Indian embassy, which was situated in Toronto. They just given a app as well, that if anyone is having any kind of issue, they just inform on the app, and the Indian officials who will be available in the country, they'll gonna help them out. So situation was not that much critical. Just even few students were there who were migrated through our side, they were also having a horrifying kind of thing in their mind, but yes, they were all settled after a few days when the situation got into the control. Second thing, whenever your visa is there, that visa is valid. So if you are thinking that situation can get worse, so you should book the flights if the direct flights are not available, because people mistaken it. They want to get a direct flight, but in these situations, whether if we are getting the connecting flights or the layover flights, we should just get it, because anyhow we have to reach to our home country. And now if we come to the second question, that how all these things, when a person is going to study into Canada or USA or Australia or any XYZ country, how it will help our country. So whenever we are going in a country where the people from different kind of worlds, different kind of communities are coming, then we have a group where everyone is having a different kind of skill, and we when just get involved with them, we get to learn a lot of things from them. So we will be having a better idea. We will be when we just study in a diverse workforce or in a diverse student area, then we will be able to work in a diverse culture as well. We will be able to adopt new languages, new culture. So when a person is returning back to India and when they want to implement the same thing, then it will not become an issue for them, because they have been into that culture. Okay. And they will be able to know, because in the foreign countries, definitely there are few things which in India it's still on the developing mode. Okay. So they people will be having a very good idea how they have to build the things from the scratch till the end, what kind of the resources they need, what kind of the strategy they need. So in these terms or manners, the education from the foreign country will help us.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm having one doubt that some people are coming back to India. They are taking technology to India. They are giving some currency, means finance also support to the India, and they are helping out. But some of the youth, they are going abroad and they get absorbed there only, and they take the nationality over there only, and we are losing our that youth energy and
Yes,
the
yes.
intelligence, especially the intelligence. So, what do
Because
you think about this?
the reason is now our government also has to implement few systems that the foreign countries government are giving. The biggest reason for going abroad and for taking the citizenship of those countries is not the education system, is not that they have a good infrastructure. Definitely in India the infrastructure is going very good day by day. Okay, the only reason in India why people are giving their citizenship day by day, that they don't have any securities for their families. Like if we just take the example of Canada, a country like Canada and Australia, then Canada and Australia being the topmost countries, they give a lot of benefits to their permanent residents. All kind of the health benefits are free. Their children education is absolutely free. And not only a government person will be having the retirement benefits, even a even a PR holder or a citizen will be having all kind of social security benefits related to health, related to funds, related to employment. So this is the main reason. It's not because of they are not having the patriotism, but it's because that a person can be economically or financially stable till one stage when they are physically capable to do work. But after 60 years or after 70 years, when their body will not be able to do that much work physically, then definitely they need some kind of support. Okay, and that's why these countries are offering that support. They are offering the social services, social security, social benefits. That is the biggest reason. So our country should also introduce, then the people will not leave the India and they'll not give up the citizenship. There are few people who are not giving the citizenship. They are just taking the PR and they are just renewing their PR after every 5 years, and they are just leaving their family in those countries, but they are running their business in India only, because in India everything is cheaper if we compare to the foreign countries. Resource, currency rate, and the circumstances are also very good, because the weather we are having, it's also very good. We are not having very much cold, we are not having very much hot. It's a feasible weather where everyone can sustain and where everyone can survive.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, good evening, sir, and good evening, all of you. Good evening, the speaker, madam, resource person, madam. This is Kanchan Pandey, actually. I have joined from another account of mine, that is Flamboyant Person Academy. Yes, I first of all would like to congratulate sir, you, and ma'am also very much. Like, it was a wonderful session, and we all know that you have been organizing very good sessions. It's a brilliant job, actually, very commendable job. So, and Afreen ma'am, I must congratulate and I must admire that the presentation was very clear. It was like point to point, everything, like it was going so smooth. But unfortunately, today I joined a little late. I think 10 or 15 minutes, 10 minutes late. So I regret that, but I have seen that it is there on YouTube, I think, right, sir?
Yeah, it's
So yes, I watch it on YouTube. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll do that. I'll share, like, fill the feedback form as well as watch the YouTube video whenever possible. So thank you very much. And actually, yes, I have written in the chat box also that I provide writing services. So if anybody needs SOP, statement of purpose writing service, it would be like I can give quick delivery with lesser fee charge also. So if anybody, as such, I'm a principal, so get very less time. But then I'm very passionate about all these things also. So I provide some writing services also, only to genuine candidates who need it on an urgent basis. So on an urgent basis, maybe at night I sit and write. So that is available. Thank you so much. Congratulations once again, Afreen ma'am.
Thanks, Kanchan. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for all of the attendees who attended the session for the valuable time. Okay, sir. All the best and congratulations for the series going on. All right.